try to be respectful of everybody's time and get you out of here on time. But good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm going to start with a pretty famous quote by Jane Goodall. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. I think that's an appropriate quote for Earth Day. And Earth Day is a perfect day to launch Mālama Maui, the land we hold. I'm Pat Davison. I'm Director of Documentary Projects for the School of Journalism and Media. They never do that in real life. I'm joined by faculty and coaches Carlos Salas, Paul Quadros, Nacho Corbella, Tenley Garrett, Andy Bechtel, and of course, all the students who are our lifeblood of what we do. In 2023, Hawaii wildfires resulted in 102 confirmed deaths, destroyed over 2,200 structures, and burned approximately 2,170 acres in Lahaina alone. It was one of the deadliest wildfires in U.S. history. Mālama Maui started with a simple question: how could this happen? It seeks to tell the stories of real people whose lives have been intrinsically affected by the fires and the issues that contributed to them. This class is immersive. It provides students with real-world experience and an opportunity to produce journalism that matters. Our team of 25 students includes reporters, photographers, videographers, interactive producers, social producers, and programmers. Students work in story teams to research and plan, interview, report, record, design, film, code, and edit in the best way for all of these mediums. They must learn to think about the entire team's work. You probably heard of best laid plans. Sometimes best laid plans have to be laid aside. No one could have predicted that 2 major Kona storms would hit Maui while we were there, dumping more than 30 inches of rain, causing flooding, road closures, sinkholes, and a power outage that covered half of the island for days. Needless to say, it impacted our project. It was hard, it was complicated, it was wet, it was sometimes emotional, chaotic. Students spend months researching and learning and planning, and then, in this case, they had to pivot several times after we arrived. Sometimes it seemed impossible, but no better way to learn, right? He says sadistically. After we returned, we met every Wednesday evening for 5 hours for the past 4 weeks, and yes, even last night into the wee hours of the morning. We like to say, you can sleep when you're dead. But seriously, the students do more. They come face to face with people whose lives are being changed by the issues, and they feel the urgency. They become deeply invested in the stories and the people who have shared their lives with us. They feel the urgency, they feel the responsibility to understand and to share honestly, fairly, and completely, and to make a difference. So we all learned a lot through this, not just about video or reporting, but about ethics, empathy, and teamwork. So now I'd like to introduce you to Grant Sizemore and Camila Menendez. They'll lead you on a journey through Mālama Maui, and afterwards the team will come down and field your questions.
Thank you so much, Pat. Welcome, everyone. So happy that everyone is here tonight. So glad that you were able to make it out. So, to introduce, my name is Grant Sizemore, and we have
Camila Menendez.
And today, we are so excited to announce the world premiere of Mālama Maui, the land we hold.
This class has been a very special one. Last month, we got to travel to Maui and work alongside each other to bring the project to life. During our time there, we experienced one of the worst storms Maui has seen in years, but we pushed through it together.
We got to interact with so many amazing story partners for the first time. We got to arrive in Maui, and that's when we got to visit numerous farms, ranches. We got to see whales, experience lots of rain, and even sell chickens crossing the road. But most importantly, we created so many close connections and we bonded together, which will last a lifetime.
Tonight, we will have the 5 story teams each talk to you a bit about their articles, show you their photo stories, and present the films.
And yes, this took so much work after we got back from Maui. We spent numerous long hours in the dungeon in Carroll Hall. These were what we like to call the workshops. And that's where we got to create so many of these amazing projects just like this. Now, we'll pass it off to the design team as they are going to introduce our website.
As members of the design team, from the very beginning, the question we kept coming back to was, what does this feel like for the audience, and what do we want it to feel? Not just individual pieces, but the experience of moving throughout the project and engaging with it as a whole. Our goal was to create a space where these different forms of storytelling don't just sit side by side, divorced from one another, but actively build on each other, where reading leads naturally into visuals, visuals lead into video, and everything feels connected as part of the same overarching narrative. We worked especially closely with reporters because inserting lots of stats and dates into a piece of written reporting doesn't read well, but these are undeniably important facets of their stories. Our challenge was to streamline potentially confusing bits of the narrative while also adding to the meaning by increasing readability. To do this, designers created graphics such as charts, timelines, graphs, and hand-drawn illustrations to house these pivotal parts of the reporter's stories. These live on each and every story page, not to replace reporting, but as a means to extend it. To build a sense of cohesion across the entire project, we focused heavily on consistency. Even though each of us has our own distinct visual style, we worked to make that a strength rather than a limitation by aligning on shared principles such as color, layout, and overall design language, so that every element feels like it belongs to the same world. A huge part of making that possible was our constant collaboration with the development team. Rather than working separately, we were in constant conversation, sharing ideas, getting feedback, and thinking about what was actually possible on that site. That back and forth made it much more easy to maintain consistency because the developers weren't just building blindly. From our designs, they understood the thinking behind them, and their work was essential in bringing this project to life. While we were designing in Figma, they were translating those ideas into a fully functional site, writing the code that turns static designs into something interactive and responsive. All of what you see here is the result of that process of iteration, problem solving, and translation between our two teams. Ultimately, our goal is to create an experience that feels intuitive, accessible, and most importantly, engaging, so that no matter how somebody chooses to interact with the site, they're able to connect with these stories in a meaningful way.
Hi everyone, I'm Zara. I'm also on the design team. And I'm just going to be walking through the website to show you some of our features that we included as well as just the general layout of the site. So to start off, when you first go onto our website, the first thing you're going to see is this sizzle reel, which is the video that you have at the top here. So we're just going to play that.
We are.
And then, as you can see, we end here with our logo, which actually the shape of the hand has the shape of the Maui island inside of it. So that's our logo there. And then as we scroll through our homepage, we have our description of what our project is about, and then all 5 of our stories right below that. So we're just going to go into one of these stories right now, which is Culture, Guided by the Stars. So right here at the top we have our title. The image right behind it is actually a drone shot that we took while we were in Maui. And as you scroll through the story, you'll be able to see the graphics we made, the documentary video, and the photo stories, all of which you'll see more of later. Here's some of the interactive graphics that we have.
classroom will look like, which you will see later on today. And then lastly, I just want to look at the About page. So this is where we have the names and faces of everyone who collaborated on this project and put it all together. Here's a group photo. And then as we scroll down here, we have all of our names, and then at the very bottom, a few behind the scenes statistics. Alright, now that you've seen the content for the page, the website, now we can go into the story content, starting with the ecological team.
Welcome to the ecological team. So just to highlight, yes, we do have 5 separate teams. We're going to be starting with eco. We're going to then go to ocean, then to food, then to culture, and then lastly with resilience. To introduce some of our amazing documentaries, we have Catherine as the reporter, we have Benjamin as the photographer, and then we have Amelie and MEJO as the videographer. As well as myself, Grant, and Benjamin as the interactive / co-developers. In 1959, 5 axis deer were brought onto Maui for sport. 60 years later, they are eating the island alive.
Hello everybody, I'm Catherine and I'm the reporter for the ecological team. On an island known for invasive species, axis deer are among the most destructive. In their native habitat across India and Nepal, these animals are adapted to a hard life, pursued by tigers, leopards, and wild dogs. On Maui, with no native predators, they've been able to grow exponentially, almost imperceptible at first, then skyrocketing. By the time the population peaked at 60,000 in 2022, their impact had become undeniable. Herds numbering into the hundreds grazed almost any vegetation down to bare dirt, leaving nothing but barren soil behind. For ranchers like Daniel Jacinto, healthy grass isn't something to be taken for granted. It's his livelihood. I've spoken to conservationists, hunters, and ranchers to discuss how axis deer have impacted the landscape while becoming central to the island's hunting culture. The final verdict, as with most things, is complicated. Thank you. I hope you enjoy Benjamin's photo story, and make sure to check out the website later to read more.
So as Catherine mentioned, my name is Benjamin, and I'm the photographer for the eco team. You guys are about to see my photo story, which is about Daniel Jacinto. He is a native Hawaiian rancher who is battling the invasive axis deer who are competing with his cattle for the grass. He also provides a hunting service where he teaches beginners how to hunt using the abundance of deer as a reliable source. In my story, I'll follow Daniel as he hunts and processes an axis deer off the island and his conflict with a love of hunting, but these deer killing his farm.
The land is our life. It feeds us. It's beautiful. In the last 10 years got real bad. All these used to be good pastures over here. This is all gone. Acres and acres of it just wasted. My dad started in 1902. I always wanted to carry on the way he did. Taking care of land. Means a lot to me. Because that's what keeps us all living.
Well, go up by the corner, check the top one going that way. I'm going up the top, look. And see what's like.
When I first was here, I was raising 100 cows. Now I'm down to half of that. When I moved here, there was only a few deer around up on the mountain up here. Now they're by the hundreds, thousands all around here. I wake up at night sometime by my house and I can't sleep. I'll go out and shine the light and see them all just eating my feed. Take the shot.
When I was a kid, it was a lot different. I remember all the native grasses being in this pasture, and the deer love that stuff. All right, we good, everybody? And honestly, that's the grass that makes the beef taste the best. By the time I was 10, deer are full swing. I won't blame it all on the deer. They all got here somehow. But I don't know how to get it back to what it was before.
I'm pretty sure I still remember this cow with the stupid horns.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. There's Grandpa. I don't even remember him being this young. Like this.
Yeah, that's my dad. Yeah,
But there's a deer from way back in the day. I don't know how old that picture is, but probably 90s or 80s.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Walked right up to us. He was like 20 feet away from us, walking up the same trail we were coming down.
Yeah.
That was back when it was fun.
Yeah. Now it's just devastating.
Do we just kill them all? Forget about it? Forget it ever happened? Do we figure out how to manage it, which is I'm on that side. It's about way more than killing. Let these out. I think there's a saying somewhere, if you have nothing to pass on, then what are you leaving?
See, the bottom line is a rancher loves their land. They care for their land. It's emotional. But for me, it's not only of our income, but it's about our future. I can see in the last 20 years the damage, and I can see what it's gonna come to. The deer is food for you, but they're gonna wreck the island. They're gonna ruin things and you can't get it back later. A good rancher is a person that loves the land.
Raising beef, so if you look at
It's beautiful.
Next we'll
Hello, 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 hello.
Thank you. Next, I'll introduce the ocean team. First, we have Madeline as the reporter, Hayden as a photographer, and then Molly and Hayden as the videographers, and myself as social media lead. Across Maui, scientists and volunteers are working to reverse ocean damage by cleaning reefs, restoring watersheds, and rebuilding ecosystems.
Hello, I'm Mālama, the reporter for the ocean team. Just offshore in Maui, divers remove thousands of pounds of ghost nets each year. This includes fishing lines, plastic, and debris that continue damaging coral reefs long after they're lost at sea. While scientists and conservation groups are working to protect these fragile ecosystems, my story asks a bigger question. What will it take to truly protect what remains? When I first interviewed a local conservationist, MEJO Smith, she told me, the purpose is to take care of your place and make it better. If you care enough about something, you cherish it. Her perspective shaped everything I reported. This story isn't about ghost nets and coral reefs. It's about conservation, connection, and community. While scientists monitor reef health and nonprofits restore damaged ecosystems, similar efforts are happening on land, planting native species and reducing runoff that carries pollution into the ocean. From the mountains to the sea, every action is connected. But what stood out most wasn't just the science, it was the community. Conservation here isn't just environmental work. It's a responsibility to the land, the ocean, and each other. My story explores how community-led conservation efforts work to protect, educate, and care for the land and sea. I learned that protecting a place starts with truly valuing. And like Michiko said, if you care about something, you cherish it. Maui deserves to be cherished. Thank you.
Hi guys. the nets from the beach, washes them out, dries them, and then turns them into really beautiful pieces of art as a form of resilience and a way to turn something like trash into something beautiful for people around. Her art often depicts the animals, the fish, and the flowers that, just like her, call Hawaii home. Hope you guys enjoy.
Both are united by a profound love for the ocean. Though their methods differ, they share a common urgency regarding the water's future. Together, the complementary work illustrates the diverse strategies required to protect and revitalize our marine environment. Hope you guys enjoy.
Growing up, I fell in love with the ocean. I would always just sing to the dolphins on our way to Maui. Hop in the water as a little girl with my goggles and paddle out and go and see the reef fish. And so it was everything. If we want to really take care of our ecosystem and our ocean, then we really need to start on land. The Mauka to Makai is the idea that everything is connected. It's the whole Ahupua'a system. Whatever we do on Mauka, we want to Mālama, take care of what's happening so that it doesn't run off and negatively affect our oceans. We're restoring the natural ecosystems to what it was once before. And then we'll just kind of loosely pack it. And planted a willy willy tree. Yay! So what's cool about this tree is that it doesn't need its leaves. That's what makes it so resilient, is that it can drop its leaf and still survive.
Swap this one out later on or something.
No, it'll survive. It'll thrive.
It'll survive one way or another.
It'll get bigger than the rest.
Here in the nursery, it's gonna survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful. This one's too much food one.
Perfect.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Here, Florida. Okay. So Maryland, I was.
It'll be nice and big and strong.
Yeah. Florida.
Yeah, so the tan one is Juicy. There's Juicy, Lucy, Simba, and the other one on the other side is Nancy. Excuse me. You done?
You know, they look good. They look good. I harvested 5 buckets this morning because I don't want to waste it. I teach my younger nieces and nephews, you know, we only need so much to eat. My biggest thing right now is against nets. I get weak when I see all of this. You raping the ocean is what you're doing, man. Come on. You know, you guys not gonna take care of the land. The land is not gonna take care of you guys. And that's as simple as that.
Usually see, and it's become less since we've been doing this for the past 2 years, but line that is just stretching across the coral fingers themselves. It just spans tens of feet to like 100 feet long line. We always set the intention of we're here to clean up the reef and make a positive impact. The last thing that we want to do is cause more damage on the reef. That feeling of when you go into the water, I feel like at ease, kind of like ready to do what I can to remove all of the debris on the reef.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is. But I think time is close. Time is running out. What about tomorrow?
It does start with the education to our keiki, to our youth. Every other breath that you take is thanks to our ocean.
Now, we would like to introduce the food team. Amazing. So we have these wonderful people who worked on this project. We have Sarah as the reporter, we have Snigdha as the photographer, we have Dahlia and Jordan as the videographers, and then we have Teo as the interactive. Taro farmers in East Maui have been fighting for their right to water for their crops for over 100 years. In 2026, a foreign corporation is attempting to take control of their water system.
Hello, I'm Sarah Stevens, and it is my pleasure to be the reporter for the food team. Growing up in rural North Carolina, I was constantly surrounded by agriculture. Coming from a long line of humble tobacco farmers and even growing up on a farm myself, water was always a pivotal element of my life. When was it going to rain and how much? Even then, accessing water was never a true issue. At the beginning of this project, when we were researching native Hawaiian farms, I had no idea the journey we would go on. When people think of Hawaii, they often first think of pineapples and coconuts. A plant much less often discussed is taro, which is also known as kalo. It's as native as you can get.
Taro is known as the living ancestor of Hawaii because throughout history, its versatility has sustained native Hawaiians for millennia. Our hunt for farms took us to East Maui, where small subsistence hollow farming villages are buried among lush jungles, crashing waves, and towering waterfalls. These people value fairness, and the land they reside on has been passed down by their ancestors throughout history. All the fresh water you see is all they have. The watershed starts and ends with rain. Well and city water is not an option on most of the island. Separate from the tourism that pervades the island, in the midst of all this beauty and these loving, kind, family-first communities, there's a Canadian pension company that owns Maui, which is a commercial farm on Maui. They are seeking a 30-year water lease to completely control the flow of East Maui's water. In other terms, the foreign company is attempting to strip the rights to water away from Hawaii's local residents and has the possibility to leave them high and dry. I spoke with local farmers to find out what taro means to Hawaii and how to protect it. In speaking with local farmers and water activists, I was able to find out how to protect it and have the opportunity to amplify their voices to the state government in the process. Like many stories we will hear today, this is a story not being told loud enough. Water is a lifeline not only throughout Maui, but in the world at large. Knowledge of water rights is empowerment because it could be your own neighbors one day.
Hello, my name is Nika and I'm the food team's photographer. My photos are going to be a really brief look at many different peoples and communities. And the reason for that is because everybody uses water. On Maui, there are many people who use it in daily life, but there are also farmers, there are activists, and different people that use and fight for that water future in different ways. And I want to show you why that matters through these photos. Please enjoy.
Our film is about water. For most of us, water is something that we take for granted. But for farmers in East Maui, water is everything. Their water source has been threatened for years, but in 2026, they may lose it all. Enjoy.
Our vision of heaven is called Kulani Hako'i. And Kulani Hako'i is this great, big, huge bowl in the sky. And it's looked over by Iomakua'ole, the supreme parentless one. This supreme being is filled with so much joy because of this adoration that he weeps. And his tears fill up this bowl. And as this bowl fills up, it overflows. And it falls down upon the earth. And that's what we know as rain.
Nothing, you feel it? Water is life. The water comes from the mountain, and then the Hawaiians would pull water off of the main river to feed the lo'i. You make sure that you take just enough what you need, and you let the rest of the water go down to the next farmer. eventually it'll end up down to the ocean. And then all of that nutrients feeds the fish, feeds the aquatic life down there, and that in turn feeds us. So it's the whole life cycle that's in place. I've privileged for take care of this, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. My name is Jerome Kikivi Jr. Come from Kenai, Wailuanui, Aupua, in the east side of Maui. Lifelong taro farmer, fisherman, hunter, gatherer. Our family has a long lineage here in this village. You know, everything was community, everything was family, everything was work together. We treat water as the most precious resource that we can ever have. So it's our kuleana to protect this place, this land right here.
I've hiked these diversion systems for 30 years. It seems like they are deteriorating more over the years. So this is a live stream, but the stream's not live here because all the water goes into this tunnel, this unseen tunnel that's a big cement structure. These farmers get a couple million gallons a day of water, and 160 million went to the MEJO plantation with no accountability. There was no accounting on, how much was wasted along the way. It's just not right to treat a whole community of human beings as if their needs don't matter.
All of them. When I lease land to you, and you build a house on it, at the end of the lease term, you know what's the house.
Exactly. It comes back to me.
The more you work,
I know.
what everyone refers to as the watershed. Yeah. We have a term called pono in Hawaiian, and it's easily defined like aloha. Aloha is love, and pono is righteousness. But on a practical level, pono is extreme balance. We're not asking for everything. All we're working towards is total balance. I give to you, and you give to me. And together, we live.
As on Hawaiian and as on Kanaka, if we don't say nothing and we don't do nothing, then that's, you just letting one foreign entity come into your house, open your icebox, take what they like. I don't think that's right. That's not pono. I know for sure my kids, I raised them like how I was raised. Hopefully they harness that, and from baby till today, my oldest is 15, and I've been taking him since he was 2 years old, so he has the concept already of, where his water come from. So all of that adds up, and I just hope that he's gonna be as good of a protector as I am. I hope for the best for the next generation. How fortunate we are, to have this abundance of water, and stand up and fight for them. I'm not gonna go anywhere else. This is where I belong.
photographers and Christine as the designer. The culture story focuses on the canoe and its place in Hawaiian culture. The proverb that guides the story is he wa'a, he moku, he wa'a. The canoe is the island is the canoe. First, we'll hear from the reporter about her article titled Guided by the Stars.
My name is Bella, and I'm a reporter for the Culture Team. Culture encompasses many things. You might not think you have one, but you do. It comes in a shared language, a family tradition that's been carried on, even in behavior and the way that you think. And Maui is no exception. However, unlike continental American culture, where individualism and standing out are key, Hawaiian culture expands beyond that. What matters is ancestry, the aloha spirit, and a deep connection to the land. With that, I was able to talk to a Hawaiian sovereignty activist, a captain, a boat builder, and navigators who can sail without a compass. Right now, Maui and Greater Hawaii are at a stage of reconnection and reclamation of identity after centuries of westernization that dwarfed cultural practices. And what I discovered is that Hawaiian history and how Hawaiians came to be play a greater part outside of simple history classes. The canoe, the foundation of what Hawaii is today, is a living connection to Hawaiian ancestry, their land, and each other. And for the longest time, our team thought that the rain was just a never-ending bother. However, on one of our trips to Snatch Down an interview, a local told us that the rain was a blessing. And with this project that we produced, that definitely rings true because what came about was a wonderful story about history, ancestry, and the responsibility to care for what you have. As you watch and read our stories about the cultural importance and heritage of the historic Hawaiian canoe and traditional star navigation, I want you to think about your history. Your parents, your grandparents, uncles and aunts, the stories that they've told you, and the habits and traditions you've been taught to carry on. Thank you.
Thank you, Bella. That was beautiful. Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm the photographer of this team. My story is about Kalaa Tanaka and Ella Gutierrez, Walter Kanamo, and O'Hare Farmer. They're pillars of the canoeing and voyaging community in Maui. Their stories are navigating by the stars, planting the seeds of journeys not yet taken, and feeding those who set. Out to sea.
Are inseparable.
Out to sea are inseparable from the island itself. Together, they carry forward a living tradition passed down through countless hands of open water. I hope you enjoy.
Alohe au I nā leo o nā kupuna. Ka hea la kou I au. E ho I oe I ka ikinui ka aina o kou kupuna. E ho I oe I ka ikinui ka aina o ko aloha. Ke akua. Make au e nana I kou maka. Make au kūpili me oe. Ua ike I kou mana, make au e lohe I kou puu vai ka hea I au. Ma'anei e ia au I ke ia la. Ma'anei e ia au I ke ia la. E malama wau ia oe, e malama mai oe I au. Ma'anei e ia au ua hiki mai. Ua lohe au I nā leo o nā kupuna.
Hi everyone, I'm MEJO, and this is Kyla, and I'm one of we're the videographers on the Culture Team. Through the towering waves of Maui, the Pacific Ocean, the canoe guided and cared for the Hawaiian people on the way to their home. They traveled together, discovered together, and survived together. For Hawaiians, the canoe is truly a family member. The film you are about to watch is about holding on to our traditions, preserving indigenous knowledge, and what it means to lose a family
no matter where you come from within Moana Nui Akea, your kupuna were voyaging on canoes. This is a tradition of our people to be connected to our va, to be connected to our oceans. We're carrying their teachings, their scoldings. Try to make them proud.
When I was born, my father, Chad Kalepa, was already captaining, going on these amazing voyages. Growing up around the canoe, I thought that the canoe was family. What we do is very spiritual, acknowledging that it's not you, it's something that's greater than you, helping you to achieve this. The wind is, that's just what we're given, you know? That's what we have to work with. We are not greater than that. And that's the thing with life too, is that in life, you're given things that you can't control.
We made it. We're going to line on the road now pretty soon. Oh, somebody's down right there. Somebody's down right there.
Our canoe hull is gone. Yeah, she's burnt to pieces.
Timmy couldn't open the fence. Everything's fine. Yeah, you're not gonna have a problem. With our classroom, we used it as a place for ceremony, have meetings, and to teach our classes too. The fire happens, burned down the whole building. Mo'olele was in there.
It's losing that piece of physical history that hurt us the most.
If you walk around, you're gonna see these red little, and so that's what we're collecting.
Mommy, I think I found another one.
Yeah, pick it up.
Oh, wow.
So we as people use the wood of the tree for making canoes. One day we're gonna plant them with the kids.
Let it grow, let it grow. Okay, I'm gonna leave it somewhere to grow.
The va is not the classroom, the people are the classroom. So you could lose a canoe, but as long as you don't lose the classroom and the people who actually know how to build canoes and how to voyage on these canoes, we can holomoa and we can continue. And that is exactly what we're doing.
Get ready, Zoe. I'm flying it. Hurry up.
But there's always a saying too, is like, what kind of kupuna do you want to be? And I think of that every single time that you speak to students, or when I speak to my sister. I love it, like being able to expose my sister at such a young age to this kind of things.
These kupuna have invested so much of their time and their knowledge passing it down to us. It's not easily accessible, and it is a privilege. One of the last moments I got to share with my dad before he passed away. I just remember standing outside with him. He just started talking to me about the weather and what was happening and how it was changing. Like, yes, you have this responsibility to share that forward because there are so many people that weren't there. For me, sharing that love forward, that aloha forward, is through teaching. It's honoring them and all of that time and all of that love that they poured into us. And I never saw myself as a teacher, but I do realize and I do see that when we do this, we're carrying their story forward and we're carrying their genealogy forward. Gather some seeds, and one day these are gonna be a big, ooh, got one? And it's all out of love because we miss them and we love them so much. And when we speak and we hear ourselves saying the things that they said, it's like they're living.
And now let's introduce the resilience team. Amazing. Awesome. So, starting out, we have Kea as the reporter, we have Uero as the photographer, we have Ice as the videographer, and then we have Zara and Phoebe as the interactors. 2.5 years after the Maui wildfires, the people of Lahaina reclaim what was lost. Now, we'll pass it on to the reporter, Kea, to tell you about her article called From the Ground Up.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here. My name is Kea, and I have the great privilege of being the reporter for the resilience team. As you all heard from the other teams, most of the stories were on extremely precarious grounds. Ours was no exception. With the Coda storm, we found ourselves doing a 360 to feature Mia Palacio, an 18-year-old Lahaina native who lost her home in the 2023 Lahaina wildfires, which claimed 102 lives and basically laid Lahaina to ashes. The fires took an already struggling housing market and turned it into one of the most severe affordable housing crises that Maui has seen ever, with the median price of a single-family home reaching nearly $1.2 million. One of the most profound things I heard in my interviews was from the founder of the Lahaina Community Land Trust, Autumn Ness, and she said, quote unquote, "The fires were not a climate change-driven thing. To say the fires were a climate change-driven thing takes away the very real impacts of capitalism. Now, I won't confuse you all. The fires did happen because of a lot of climate issues. But a lot of those climate issues were caused by capitalism. Many of you have already seen some of these climate issues and will continue to see it in the visual stories. For example, or I guess moreover, the big five plantation companies and the real estate firms and the hotels and the tourist industries, those take billions of water away from the people of Maui. and those dried the lands that eventually caught on fire. At its core, my article addresses the effects of capitalism on Maui. Entitled From the Ground Up, my story discusses the housing crisis of Maui and the policy efforts to combat this crisis. Particularly Bill 9, a zoning ordinance that attempts to prevent apartment zone units from renting out to tourists on a short-term basis. Basically, Bill 9 is trying to give more housing to the locals, but the question remains, will it actually do what it promises? I encourage you all to read the story and learn more about Mia's transition back to her home, contextualized by the very contentious housing politics of Maui. I would like to now introduce Loretto, who beautifully captured Maui's resilience through her lens.
Hello, I'm Loretto, and I was honored to be the photographer for this amazing team. I'll share a little bit about the photo story that Amber put together over the course of our time in Maui. As you saw in the wonderful documentary from the water team, water is vitally important to Maui. Pu'ukuli is the tallest mountain in the West Maui mountain range and is responsible for the majority of the fresh water on the island. It's one of the wettest places on Earth, and all that water falls in the watershed and eventually makes its way down the mountain and to the sea. There's a nonprofit called the Pu'ukuli, which is doing the hard work of preserving and conserving the watershed. They currently have 11 people on full-time staff, and they look over almost 9,000 acres of conservation land. I got to spend many hours hiking through wet climates and other things, but spent so much time with them, being able to aid in and see the work they do. And at the center of it is community and bringing people together into that work. And so the song that's going to play in the background of my photos is by KBE Rachel, who is a Lahaina native and creates beautiful music as well. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ice. I'm the filmmaker on this team and video lead for the overall project. As for my film's description, 2.5 years ago, when a windstorm ignited dry invasive vegetation in West Maui, high school senior Mia Palacio lost her home in what became the deadliest U.S. wildfire in over a century. Witnessing everything she had ever known disappear into flames, Mia says she feels like she lost her identity. Since that day in August 2023, Mia has been moving from one form of temporary housing to another. Knowing that it was invasive species that caused the fire to spread so rapidly, she now spends every weekend volunteering with 5 different organizations working to replant native naturally fire-resistant trees across Lahaina. The film you're about to watch follows Mia as she gradually finds her place in her community again by helping it recover, all while waiting for the day she can have a place to call home.
I feel like the Lahaina community raised me. My parents weren't a part of my upbringing. Lahaina was starting to build up my identity. I was finally happy to feel like a sense of belonging.
Hi, Robin.
It was the first day of school, but we started seeing lots of smoke. It was really windy. Front Street looked like complete darkness. We're just standing outside watching the smoke roll in. The one thing that made me feel like I belonged was gone. I've been like picking my clothes from a suitcase for a while now, and it gets so irritating because I don't know where any of my clothes are. One of the reasons fire spread so fast in Lahaina was the amount of invasive species on the island.
Aside from the plants that we put in the ground, everything we see around us is not native. So why restoration is super important, which is why we try to remove invasive from our landscape. Then we have this guy right over here, which is a'ali'i. This guy's like a champion restoration plant. Let's all grab some plants.
You two are gonna grow so tall. Alright, you're gonna grow so big. Look at these vibrant leaves. Look at you. Okay, queen. Okay. What I learned about a'ali'i and wili trees in agriculture class is that they are resilient against fire. If we had a whole bunch of this in Lahaina, they could stop fires in the future from spreading as fast as it did. My grandma called and she said, "Do you want the good news or the bad news first?" And I actually can't remember what the bad news was. The good news was that we would be able to start moving into the new house. When my grandma first told me that we were gonna move into the house like by the end of last year, I got really excited. I was really bummed out when it didn't happen. Lesson I've learned is kind of like to not expect anything and then you won't be disappointed. So I'm not really, but it's like, now that it's here, I'm super excited. I feel like my mind's gonna be clearer.
So it's not a blackout yet?
It is light
blocking.
Light blocking.
Okay.
And it's soft too. It's so hard to try to not buy anything that I don't need. Necessities. Think about necessities. I like this a lot. Honestly, I just need one reason and that's it. I'm taking it. But look, you see how big the kitchen is? We're enormous. I'm excited. Is this a washing machine? This is a dishwasher? I've never had one of these before. Dude, this is awesome. And then we have our own bathroom. Blessed. I feel relieved now that I have a fresh start. I just feel so happy knowing that I have a place I can call home again. If you open your mind and try to learn lessons from Mother Nature, like how to be as strong and gentle as the ocean, and as patient and resilient as the trees, you realize that nature can help. I feel like Aloha is helping others when you're in need of help. After all this, we're going to be seen for our efforts and our community and our strengths. That I would still be a part of the Lahaina community by helping it recover.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our screening. That's it. And in a moment, the team's going to come down and take questions. But first, you have to endure a few thank yous. Of course, I'd like to thank our collaborators who made this possible. Selket Kaufman, who's a former student, went through Hussman, and she helped us on so much of the Paul Hanada, who goes by Hawaiian Superman, he was a great local contact and helped us a lot. Our talented local producer, Marina Riker, and of course, Wei Yang, who's our master problem solver. She was part of the team but couldn't be here tonight. We'd also like to thank all of the people of Maui, of course, but especially our story partners. They opened their homes and their lives, and they partnered with us to tell these stories and share them with the world. I'd like to thank all of our faculty and alumni coaches. They do this difficult work out of their passion for great storytelling and their passion for teaching. And finally, I know I speak for all of my fellow faculty and coaches, but we'd like to thank our students. They truly are remarkable young people with a passion for people and their stories, and it's a great privilege to work with all of you. Love you back! I really thought after 15 I'd be able to get through this without getting emotional, but no. Anyway, yeah, come on down then. Yes!
All right, we will open it up now for you all if you have any questions for us.
The professor said that y'all had so many challenges don't pay attention to what's on the news, we're fine. Which then, of course, made us seek out the news. But I didn't see that in any of the work. So how did y'all tell the story in Overcast Days?
Well, one thing I can speak for is the food team, and we definitely had a lot of challenges, but some of it was just getting up every morning way too early and then thinking about how we could get through the next thing. For example, a lot of the rain actually caused flash floods, and East Maui, where all of our stories were, is historically known for a lot of flash flooding. And what happened was that the highway, the only road we could take to get to all of our story partners, was blocked by the police. And what happened was we had to call everyone we knew. We had to pretty much ask, can you show ID? Can you take us there? Will the police believe you? And sometimes we just had to get up earlier than them and get through before they got there. And it worked somehow. So I think some of it was having coaches that believed in us, and some of it was having a team that just really, really wanted it. And sometimes you figure out a way.
First of all, amazing job from all of you. Wow, this made me emotional. They were so incredible. This question is particularly for Ayas. Your story it felt so intimate, and I was just wondering, first of all, how did you find this person, and how did you convince them to let you do a story on them? And also, what was it like kind of gaining their trust and being in such an intimate personal space, and how did you go about that as a videographer? Amazing work.
Okay, so before leaving for Hawaii, it's typical that like we have one primary story and maybe one backup. And for some reason, I had 4 backups, and I was like, I'm not going to need 4 backups. And then we get there, and the storm happens, and yes, I was down to my last backup. But particularly to answer your question, I think one of the things that I did was I got a grant to go a little bit earlier because I really want to prioritize the relationships that come from these projects. And I feel like sometimes a week isn't as long as we want to like really get to know your story partner. And so in the few days that I had before the rest of the team arrived, I basically went and like volunteered with as many organizations as I could that were doing replanting work. And I didn't bring my camera. I just wanted to like get to know people. Like I feel like it's really important to understand the communities that you're trying to document. And so Mia was one of the people I met while volunteering, and I hadn't even thought of like potentially doing a story with her. After after the storm happened, and my first, second, and third story partner, the access fell through. They were dealing with the flooding. They couldn't like make time anymore. I reached out to Mia to ask how she was doing, and she said, I'm scrapbooking in this park, if you want to talk about if you want to talk through about what my experience with the fire has been. So I went and I filmed her doing that, and while we were filming, she gets a call from her grandma, the call that she's talking about saying the house was ready because it wasn't supposed to be ready until 2 months after. And then she looked at me and she goes, I'm gonna go to the new house now, do you want to come and document it? And I was like, sure. And so we just went with that, and then as I, continued filming, actually, most of the footage from that film you saw was from that one day of her just getting things moving into that new house. But yeah, as I spent more time with her, as I got to know her, through volunteering and then through scrapbooking, she became more and more open. And I think of anyone I spoke to in Hawaii, she was the person that was the most enthusiastic about our project and always wanting to be a part of it. So I guess it was serendipitous, and it also just ended up working out.
We'll go up here real quick, and we'll come back down here.
Hi. Okay, I would love to, this is more of a logistical question, how the class
love to know how you guys sort of landed on your stories that you covered, and like how you guys decided like what team you wanted to cover and how that worked, because it was all amazing work, and I wanted to know how you guys decided what.
So the way we chose our teams was at the beginning of the semester, we got sent a form to fill out, and basically you would put down, we had 5 different topics, so all the topics that we saw today. They were already decided before we knew what our teams were, and we were sent out a form. You would put down what your top choice was, what your second choice was, who you would like to work with, who you would not like to work with. And then from there, they did an amazing job of pairing us with, our choices. Most of us, I think, did our top choices or our second choices. And we all love each other, so I think we all love the people that we worked with. But yeah, that's kind of how it happened. And then from there, we got set on researching, looking for potential stories, researching the problems and issues that were relevant to our topics. Yeah. And I'll give you
We also spent the entirety of winter break researching for this project. So we got our topics at the end of fall semester, and then Pat and the coaches were giving us winter break researching, and then we did, and then we got to present all our research, and that helped inform the decision that we wanted to make on that Google form.
I just want to say we did a lot of work, but a lot of it only came together when we got to the island. We actually had to wake up in the morning and be like, who do we call today? Or where do we go today? And things fell into place, but I think that's part of the beauty of journalism. It's definitely an adventure.
This is for the photo people. I bet you take tens if not hundreds of photos. So I was wondering how you decide which photos you pick to create a story, how you decide the order and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's a good question. We do take thousands upon thousands of photos. The statistic is on the website. If you know exactly how many we all took. The process of picking your photos is kind of particular to the photographer. I think what we really try to do with this type of story is see not only what photos look best, which is obviously the kind of first round, but really how we want to portray our story partners and how they would want to be seen. And so kind of the way that I do it, and I'll speak for myself, is I go through my photos and I'll find the ones that I think are telling the best story, telling the most story, telling the most about my story partners, and I'll try and kind of piece those together and see what works. And that's how I do it. Some people go story first, some people go photo first, but we take bajillions of photos, so it is hard. Though sometimes in the field you take one and you kind of know you really want that to be in there, so that's important too. And it's really part of something like this.
And something to add is that you get really attached. When you take thousands of photos, there comes a point where you're trying to sit in front of the computer and you know that you need maybe 10 photos, and it hurts. You're pressing, you're trying to rate them, you're trying to take them away. And the best way to do it is to have community. If you ask me, in our lock-ins, in our classes, even in Hawaii, when we were just sitting around, you call everybody into a giant huddle around you and you say, what stays? And it's like a grand competition where everyone says, do you really need the grass? Yes, I need the grass. And it just, at some point, after you've gone through tens of thousands of people, you just realize that there are a few photos in there that really encapsulate who that person is, what you were seeing. And the job of the photographer, honestly, is to find the few photos that tell you the whole story without you having to go there, right? And I hope that's what we did for you.
We'll get out here and then we'll head back over there.
I wanted to ask the ocean team, so the underwater shots that y'all did of the
scuba, did y'all have to get certified as well, or how'd y'all fall in those?
So basically, when we were there, we were supposed to go diving, and I do a lot of diving work in general, and I was super excited to get those shots. But with all the runoff from the storm, the water was too murky, and no one would go diving. So that was from our partner, Selkit. She provided us a lot of that footage. She works for a foundation and had taken all of that before. So yeah, she goes with that. And some of it was from the aquarium.
I will add, though, that Selket is an alum of the program.
And so it's still UNC. Whose name was it?
Good job, everybody, first of all. It was wonderful. My question is for Smita and how you went about capturing so many different people over such a short time span and like that process of getting access in that way.
You can do it, Grant.
Give it up for Grant, guys.
He just closed his rings.
First of all, thanks for the question. I think some of it was being lucky and some of it was work, but the luck part actually was that Maui and Hawaii in general is very interconnected, right? It's an island, so everybody knows everybody, right? To us, like our entire team, it felt like we were like in season 2 of a show and we were meeting season 1 characters, you know? And by the end, we had met every single like supporting cast member because they had all mentioned each other. So some of it was almost using that interconnected nature and being able to meet these people through their relationships, right? You learn a lot more about a person when you know that, you know, they're, the great-grandmother of this person, or the father of this person. You learn a lot more through that than you do from just seeing them alone in, a green screen room, you know? And the fact that we were able to see them talking to all of these people and telling us, I know a person that works has a tarot farm, do you want to meet them? You call them up. And all of that, being able to use the people that you know as a resource and a way to gain trust and just learn, when you're willing to listen, people will tell you about literally everyone they know. And it helps. It really does, because like in my story that had so many people in it, you learn more about each person from the environment that they're in than you do alone.
My question is about the water. Are you guys trying to spread this work to help protect the people's rights, or is there any way you can use this to help protect their rights, because you're saying that it might be taken this year? Yeah, so my story kind of goes into a lot more in-depth than I can here. There's a local government agency that was elected by people that are trying to gain control of the watershed, and it's run by a board of community members that are in these areas that are affected. And so they're really trying to fight the company and the state on that. And there's a court case that's going to be in May, actually, that is deciding whether they grant this water rights to Mālama, the company, or whether they are able to pass it on to the East Maui Water Authority, which I believe you guys saw their community board in the video. Yes, there are ways that you can help. I think we're putting that on the website.
Yes.
Zara?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. We're putting, there's going to be 2 links, one to Jerome Kiki's nonprofit, which is in supporting the Wailuinu Valley. And then we also have the Sierra Club, which is a ecological supporting group that is heavily involved in the court case as well. And then as far as other than that, I would just encourage you to look up the East Maui Water Authority, and they have a lot of things on their website, obviously my story as well, and just kind of get educated on that, because this is not just a Maui central thing. This is this kind of issue of pension companies coming in and trying to take control of water systems. It's happening in South America, Asia, all over the world. And it's very, very important to be aware of your water rights and everyone else's water rights. Thank you.
We can take one more. Oh, let's put your hand first. Sorry.
Make it two. Make it two.
Make it two. We had wait, two?
Make it two questions.
Design team. Okay.
Again, great job, everybody. My question is, so I know there's probably a lot of things you guys had to cut out that you couldn't include in your stories. What was something that you maybe couldn't include that you really wish you could, like your favorite memory?
So we cut out an entire character last night. We cut out 3 characters total, but yeah, we had an entire section that we had to cut out, and that happened, yeah, so. Simi, we had to cut him out because the connection to, his connection to the canoe wasn't as prominent as the other 2 characters, and so we felt it made the film a lot more complete to leave him out. So yeah, but Timmy's awesome. Timmy's awesome.
And before we had another woman who was like captaining and narrating and had to cut her out. And we also had Walter, who was an older man who was featured in Sophia's photo story. He was singing. Yeah, that was the guy doing the music. And it's like difficult to like cut out these people, especially when you spend like so much time with them. Like specifically Walter, we spent 2 days with him, and we like ate at his house. We went up to his like mountain, that home that his family has owned for years. And it's a tough decision to make, but I think like just having those experiences added so much to like us being able to tell the story that we did. So it's not, you can cut them out of the film, but like the experience doesn't go to waste.
So if you're in journalism, you know that there's a common saying called "kill your babies," and I had to basically. It doesn't mean literally kill a baby. It just means kill. It just means kill some. You sometimes have to take away some really, really important parts of your story to do justice to it, and I had to do that with Aloha Pu'ukui. If you watch the documentary, which I'm sure you all did, it's just in here. A lot of the scenes with Mia were while hiking, and they were with an organization called Aloha Pu'ukui. And it was really important to me to try to include that in my story, but unfortunately it just didn't fit. And if you're a writer, you know that sometimes you just have to meet a word count that I surpassed anyway, so, you know. But it was really unfortunate that I had to cut that out, so I highly encourage you to go on the website and see a little bit more about their initiative.
Luckily, I was able to feature them in my photo stories, but on the topic of babies, you saw a little clip of the baby in Isis' film, and I had so many pictures of this cute baby, like so many pictures. And I looked and I was like, I'm not gonna take pictures of the baby because like, I don't know, it's a child. Somehow I came back scrubbing baby. So I couldn't picture the baby in my photo story, but you got a little bit of her in Isis' film.
And the last one, the design question.
Yes, my name is Nathan, and I'm a graduate of this program as well. I think it was 2004 when Pat and Nacho and I went to Spain.
It was 5. It was 2005.
Oh, 5, yes, right. You don't see memories better than mine, Pat. My question is, for the designer, did you program the website like from scratch, or did you build it on a CMS? Are you doing any AI vibe coding? I'm just curious how all that works. And what's the URL? Because we need to pass this around.
Well, I can answer this question and then maybe pass it over to Benji too. So we were actually, there's some really cool stuff nowadays. We really wanted to enhance the experience and create the best website in the amount of time of, I think, 4 weeks after the trip. So the designers, before we left for Maui, designed the website and then prepared the prototypes that we ended up taking into make it into code. So we used Cursor AI, which is a pretty cool tool. Of course, this is collaborating with AI. We're trying to use the future technology while still maintaining this authenticity of our story. And so even though we were using a form of AI, we were still able to maximize this experience and make things that we honestly hadn't learned in school all the time. So we can actually go in, watch videos, try to see how things are done, but then also collaborate with this cursor to actually create a site and enhance it to make it more interactive.
Yeah, just to reiterate what you said is that, like, so design made basically everything you've seen, the graphics, the colors, they chose the font. They made this whole website, and we went to implement it in, and we built a lot of what you actually see in the front end with our own code and just our own expertise. But the back end, we have had, very little experience with that before, and we got in there, we were just very confused. So that's where we used a lot of of this tool, the Cursor AI, which is it's a development tool that AI will help you with your code. So we'll have this bug, it normally takes us like an hour to figure out what's going on here. We'll have the AI go in and be like, oh, this is the wrong thing, you gotta fix it here. And it helped us with significant portion of the website.
Now for the final website reveal. It will be at Mālama.unc.edu. However, that will be at least by the end of the semester. So no exact date for that, but actually please follow our social media, our Instagram, we will post a link on there so that you can make sure that you're staying on stage with that. And yeah, I honestly really want to just take a second and thank our wonderful coaches for being If it wasn't for Pat for really even creating this whole program for us students, if it wasn't for Carlos for the interactive and design, dev, social media team, for Paul for the amazing reporting and all his coaching, but then also even for Nacho for all the incredible time you've been able to work with us in Maui and also here in North Carolina. Really, thank you guys so much for everything you do. And I don't want to speak for everyone, but I honestly had one of the best experiences in my whole college career. Thanks to you. Now, if you're a student, we have this thing called CLE credits. Guys, get excited. We're going to post the QR code, that's what it's called, so that you can scan that now and get your credit for university.
And yeah, I just want to say thank you again for coming to our project, and please, on your way out, if you could grab